How good will the Las Vegas Raiders defense be this upcoming NFL season? We got to talk about it. I want to give a special shout out to the sponsor of this video, Manscaped. So Manscaped recently just launched their Lawnmower 4.0. And listen, if you are a guy who does a lot of shaving underneath, the Lawnmower 4.0 is the perfect tool for you because listen, my first time shaving a couple of months ago went terrible. I had a bunch of scrapes, I had a bunch of bruises, and I also had patches because I didn't finish the job. So when Manscaped sent me the Lawnmower 4.0, I used it, and I was a little bit scared, okay? Because I was like, I ain't trying to give myself patches and give myself injuries like I did last time, my first time shaving. But when I used the Lawnmower 4.0, let me tell you guys something. It was a easy process. I had no scrapes, no bruises. It was no pain. Listen, if you're a guy who does a lot of shaving underneath, make sure that you guys go ahead and cop the Lawnmower 4.0 using my promo code JT for 20% off plus free shipping off your Manscaped purchase. Once again, make sure that you guys use promo code JT for 20% off your purchase plus free shipping. Your balls will thank you. The Las Vegas Raiders last season in 2020 had one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They couldn't stop the pass, they couldn't stop the run, they couldn't get pressure on the quarterback. This defense couldn't do anything right. Now, as a Raiders fan, for well over a decade, your biggest concern is going to be, how good is this defense going to be? Is this defense going to improve? Because this Raiders defense has been bad for well over a decade. Now, I cannot explain to you why. I don't know. Maybe it's the players they draft. Maybe it's the philosophy they have. But for some reason, the Raiders just cannot find an answer on defense. Now, hopefully, they're able to find that answer this year because the Raiders are a defense away from making it to the playoffs. The only thing holding back Las Vegas from being a playoff team is this defense. And what's crazy is that the Raiders don't need to have an elite defense to make the playoffs. They don't need a good defense or an above average defense. They just need this defense to be average. If this defense was at least average, they would be a playoff team. Now, you bring in defensive coordinator Gus Bradley, who was the defensive coordinator for the LA Chargers. Now, he's going to be tasked with the job of being able to find a solution to the problems that the Raiders have had defensively. Now, the biggest question I have is going to be, how improved is this defense going to be in 2021 when it comes to getting off the field on third down? Because this was one of the worst third down defenses in the NFL last year. They allowed opposing offenses to convert on third down 48% of the time, which was 30th in the NFL. Now, for a team to be good on third down, I think the most important thing is having a good pass rush. Because if you can get pressure on the quarterback on third down, then you're going to be able to get off the field. For Las Vegas, you didn't have a pass rush last year neither. You were 30th in the NFL in sacks per game. Now, the good thing is the Raiders addressed the pass rush in free agency by signing Yannick Ngakoue, who is one of the best pass rushers in this past year's free agency. Now, Yannick Ngakoue is one of the most consistent pass rushers that we have in the NFL. He consistently is a guy who puts up 8 sacks or better year in and year out, and he's going to be that dominant one-on-one pass rusher that Las Vegas hasn't had since they traded away Khalil Mack to the Chicago Bears. Now, with Yannick Ngakoue on one side, that's going to free up more opportunities for Max Crosby. Max Crosby had 7 sacks last year. That was 3 sacks less than what he had his rookie season when he had 10 sacks. Now, for Max Crosby, I think he has a lot of potential to be a really dominant pass rusher in this league. And with him being on the opposite side of Yannick Ngakoue, that's going to give him more opportunities. That's going to free him up because now he's just not going to be the focal point of that pass rush anymore. Because I'm pretty sure teams coming in offensively were just game planning to stop Max Crosby because that's pretty much the only consistent threat they had when it came to being able to get pressure on the quarterback. So now that you have another another guy that should be able to free up Max Crosby some more, and we should see his production take a step up as well this year with the addition of Yannick Ngakoue. Now, the Raiders also have a lot of talent when it comes to their nose tackle and their defensive tackle positions. They have a solid rotation there. They have a lot of depth there as well. So this defensive line should be pretty solid this year. Now, I'm also expecting this defense to take a step up when it comes to being able to stop the run, because with how good this defensive line is, not only should this be a good team when it comes to being able to get pressure on the quarterback, but they also should be better in the run department. Now, the next question is going to be, okay, will this secondary improve? The secondary has been the worst part of the Raiders defense for a very long time. Aside from Trayvon Mullen, you don't really have any consistency there at corner. Now, you have Damon Arnette, who's going to be going into his second year. He struggled a lot last year. As a matter of fact, he had a blown coverage in that Miami Dolphins game, which led to the Miami Dolphins converting, moving down the field, and winning the game. So for Damon Arnette, his rookie season was not that great. Is he going to be more improved going into his second year? That remains to be seen. Then you bring in Casey Hayward. Casey Hayward is a solid veteran. He's not great, but he's not bad. I think he's like above average. So if you start Casey Hayward, that should be a little bit of an improvement there. You got rookie out of Illinois, Nate Hobbs, who I love. He was one of my favorite cornerback prospects in this past year's NFL draft. Hopefully he can find a way to get on the field, because I definitely think he can contribute to this defense. You also got Rasul Douglas. You got slot corner Meek Robertson and Nevin Lawson. So this secondary, the Raiders have spent a lot of time addressing the cornerback position. Now, the question is going to be, are these guys going to be able to produce? Because I'm not questioning the amount of talent that the Raiders have at corner. Like, obviously, they have a lot of talent because they spent a lot of draft capital and they spent a lot of money in free agency improving the cornerback position. It's pretty much been to the point that the Raiders' cornerback position has been so bad that they just keep picking up guys, signing guys, and drafting guys until somebody is able to come up and somebody is able to give them some solid production there. Now, I'm really excited to see what Meek Robertson is going to do this year, because I think he has all of the potential to be one of the best slot cornerbacks in the NFL. Is he going to be able to win that starting slot corner job this year? We'll have to be able to see as we progress throughout the rest of the offseason. I also wouldn't be surprised if we see Nate Hobbs maybe compete for that slot cornerback spot, because Nate Hobbs is really talented. Like, I felt like he should have been drafted like in the late first round of the 2021 NFL draft that just passed by. Now, I may be overrating him just a tad bit, but I really think Nate Hobbs is really good. I would like to see him on the field with the Raiders first stringers this year. Now, the safety position, you have Jonathan Abram, who's really good when he's able to stay healthy. He had 2 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, and 86 tackles last year. You also bring back Carl Joseph. You have rookie Tyree Gillespie. Then at free safety, you have rookie Trayvon Moorick, who was the best safety in this past year's draft. So the safety position should be pretty solid. Jonathan Abrams, a pretty solid safety when he's able to stay healthy. And Trayvon Moorick was the best safety from this past year's draft. Now, with the cornerback position and the safety position, with all the amount of money they spend and all of the draft capital they spent when it comes to the secondary, corner, and safety, this should be, at worst, an average secondary. And I'm saying at worst an average secondary. Like, this Raiders secondary has too much talent to play the way they did in 2020. Now, the next thing is going to be, like I mentioned earlier, the pass rush. You have Yannick Ngakoue, who consistently gives you 8 sacks and more year in and year out. You got Max Crosby, who should be able to give you at least 7 sacks this year. Now it's going to be who's going to be that third guy who steps up in the rotation. I'm looking at Clelin Ferrell. Clelin Ferrell was drafted really high a couple of years back. As a matter of fact, the Raiders took him over Josh Allen. And I'm not talking about the quarterback, Josh Allen. I'm talking about the pass rusher who plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Josh Allen, who made it to the Pro Bowl that year as a rookie. So Clelin Ferrell has not produced. He only had 2 sacks last year. I have been really disappointed and let down by the performance that Clelin Ferrell has had his first couple of years in the league. He definitely has to have a big season this year, because if he doesn't have a big year, I could definitely see the Raiders parting ways with him after this year. So I really feel like Clelin Ferrell needs to have a really good year. Now, I don't know what is the problem with Clelin Ferrell, why he's not producing. Maybe he needs to get changed to maybe the tackle, put some more weight on him or whatnot. But I don't know what the explanation is for why Clelin Ferrell has struggled his first couple of seasons in the NFL. Don't really know. But he is a guy who I definitely feel like if you can at least get 6 sacks out of him, you should have a pretty good pass rush. Now, linebacker is pretty solid. You got Corey Littleton there. You got Nick Kowalski. You have converted safety Devon Diablo out of Virginia Tech. So linebacker should be pretty solid this year. So for the Raiders defense, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say I expect the Raiders defense to at least be average. I think they should be in that 17th to 18th range. And I know a lot of Raiders fans are excited like everybody is. Everybody says they're going to have a great offense. Everybody says they're going to have a great defense because that's just the offseason. Everybody's overly optimistic. But realistically, I don't think it's bad to say that this Raiders defense can't be anywhere between 16th and 18th in the NFL this year defensively. And like I mentioned earlier, this defense doesn't have to be great. It doesn't have to be anything sensational. All this defense has to be able to do is to be average, and this should be a playoff caliber football team. So I expect this Las Vegas Raiders defense to be at least average this year. I definitely feel like this is a year that they should be able to take a step in the right direction. They should be able to somewhat find a couple of answers on defense. When you look at the corners they have, the secondary they have, like there's a lot of talent there. I think it all comes down to Gus Bradley. Is Gus Bradley going to be able to get the most out of the players that he has on this defense? Because this defense isn't lacking any talent. Like I said, there's been a lot of resources that have been going into this Raiders defense over the last couple of years. I just really think that it all comes down to Gus Bradley. Is he going to be able to get these guys to play at a high level? That's the question. So you guys let me know how good you guys feel the Las Vegas Raiders defense will be this upcoming season. Make sure that you guys like the video, subscribe for more NFL videos and content, and thanks for watching.